Sarah here, Psychic Craftswoman's podcast vlog. I think it's episode 13. Anyway, I'm outside. I'm always outside. I'm addicted to being outside. Yay. Anyway, we've got one of our trees starting to fruit. And it's our cherry tree. And Lester has always picked my partner has always picked the fruit off the trees, so it's not something that is in my mindset. Like, it's not something I think, oh, it's time to pick the cherries, time to pick the plums or anything, because he's always done it. So last year we didn't pick any fruit because he didn't do it because he was too busy, and I didn't do it because, as I say, it wasn't in my mindset. Anyway, today he mentioned yesterday when he was walking around that there was cherries on the tree, but he was working over the weekend and he said, I don't have time to pick them. And that kind of planted itself in my mindset. So this morning I was thinking what I could do outside, which was a list of jobs which is needing doing, and cherries came into my mind. So here I am, picking cherries. Do you know, this is a grand tree. We planted this ourselves, or rather it planted itself, but we let it stay instead of digging it up. It came from a cherry pip. The birds must have sat on the fence and having eaten a cherry from somewhere else, then went to loo. Cherry digested, pip not, out the rear end of the bird. The pip came, into the ground it went, and hey presto, cherry tree. It's a very strong tree. We've never pruned. We don't like pruning trees. I don't know why. It's just that I feel like I'm hurting. I know you're supposed to, but I just think I'm hurting it. I think, well, this is a living being. I mean, this is part of the same world that you and I live in. It's just a different form, but it has a lot of the chemical constituents that which we share between us human beings and the natural world. So I pick most of the lower cherries, say thank you to the tree, saying, oh, thank you. Very aware of the cycle of things when you're starting to harvest. The first harvest for 2 years. Whee! It's good. And these will go into jars. I think I'll we're not going to eat them. Lester, I took a little bowl indoors just now and Lester started eating them. I said, oh no, you can't eat them. They've got to go into the canning process to be stored for winter. Maybe have them at Christmas. And you know, when you eat canned for what you've stored, you have it out of the freezer or dehydrated or canned in storage jars, it brings back the summer somehow. It's not the same when you go and buy fruit out of the supermarket, which has been stored in whatever way you buy it. But I'm just going to do some picking. It's nice out here. It's windy and might rain in a minute, but it's nice. Well, excuse the hair. Just come out the shower. It's Tuesday morning, and this came yesterday. A parcel, and I can't wait any longer to have a look to see what's inside. I know what's inside, but you know what I mean. This came from the Remnant House in the UK. and it's nothing. Got a bill. This is plum red all-in-one fabric dye. You can get the fabric dye here, but being in France, the instructions are going to be in French. So, so I thought if I got some dye from England, then the instructions would be in English. So once I know how to use it, then I can buy any other dye from here, if I so choose. This is plum red. I've got a skirt, I've had it for several years. I made it. It's a tiered cotton skirt in dark brown with a little tiny flower, little tiny dark brown, little tiny flower on it. You can hardly see it. It's my favourite skirt. The fabric's fine, but it's getting a little bit tired. The fabric's fading on the hem, and now I don't mind doing it. Sorry, I don't mind wearing it like that, but I just thought it might like being pepped up, you know, looking after it, keeping it pristine. Anyway, this is plum red, and I'm interested to see what that does on top of the dark brown, mid brown that the fabric is in. I would think that the dye would colour differently over the various parts of the skirt which have faded. And it's also a poplin cotton skirt, so there's bits of cotton and bits of nylon. Hang on, Lester, sorry about that. Lester got up and wanted to switch his computer on and do some bits, and I'm in the same, I was doing this in the same room, and I had to decamp in the front room now, and I've lost the dye pot. What do I do with that? Anyway, I've put the dye pot somewhere. But anyway, the theory is that it's plum red, so the combination of that going over the nut brown of the skirt, and which is poplin, so has some cotton and nylon polyester mix, I suppose. The dye will take on some of the cotton fibres but won't on the synthetic fibres. So it's going to be interesting to see how the skirt dyes up. I'm hoping it'll dye not multicoloured, sort of, because the faded bits on the skirt will also take a different colour of dye than the bits of the skirt which aren't faded. I think that's right. And my mind suddenly went blank. I was all right in the other room. I was quite settled there. I had my table and everything, but you have to work, so that was it. So I think I've got another. Yes, I've also got a hand dye. This is olive green hand dye, and this is for another project. I just thought I'd maybe have a go at tie-dyeing a piece of fabric. Now in this packet, oh look, there is some 2 meters of cotton lawn, and normally cotton lawn is, wow, this is nice. I wanted to make a cotton lawn blouse, but it's expensive to buy, and it's going to mean a blouse is going to be about well, about 15 £15 at least, £20 at least to make. And I've not tried cotton lawn, so I don't know how it would wear, whether it would crease very much because it's for a top. But this was only £5 a metre, and I think it's 60 inches wide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a go at dyeing this with this and then making a blouse. That's I'm quite excited about that. It means that if that works and I'm happy with the lawn, then I've got a good quality fabric to make some blouses with, some tops with. That'll cost me at least half to a third of the price that the printed lawns would cost me. This is, it's not turning up. This is cotton dobie, and I've got 2 meters of this, and I chose a different colour, but they're out of stock, so I thought I'd go for the pink. And the cotton dobie has got little knobbles in it, tiny, not big knobbles, but small knobbles. So I'm pleased with that. That's the top. And then I've got, this is poplin to make a skirt with. I think it, yeah, it's very good quality poplin, very fine, very silky. It's not like the other poplins I've had from the online fabric shops, but this is to make a skirt with. But I don't know, I think it might be a bit, it's not as soft as some of the other poplins I've had, so it just might make another couple of tops. But I'll wash it first because the fabrics do have some finishing, and that was a good parcel. Very pleased with that. And while I'm at it, I've started the, excuse my hair, just give it a quick fluff up. It's drying. Oh, and some cotton thread for the skirt. I've started the woodland shawl. It's crocheted in Scheepjes, stone washed cotton. Well, I think it's cotton and a cotton and acrylic. 78% cotton, 22% acrylic. And I must say, I don't know, can't remember. I think it's it doesn't say on here. I think it's not DK. It's thicker than DK. It's the next one up. But anyway, it's crocheting up beautifully. It's so soft. Really love this yarn. Wasn't sure about starting this shawl. Find a picture for you. Can you see it? The printout on my computer wasn't very good. Anyway, it's one of those odd shaped shawls which goes thin on one side and then goes wide and wide and wide. I don't know how I'm supposed to make it, how I'm supposed to wear it. Sorry, I'm gabbing a little bit because Lester kind of put me off kilter. So it's a lovely crochet. so easy. This is the one I come to in the evenings at the end of the day, so that I have a gap of crafting between the day, which is normally on my computer, and on the going to bed. So, and then started at the bottom, and then I'm working my way up. It's getting wider as I go, and it's just effortless at the moment. It's a good pattern. It's a V-stitch pattern, so it's just one treble, one chain, one treble in each of the previous pattern. I don't know what you call it, pattern V's, and feels quite firm, and it does feel nice, so I'm pleased with this. I didn't want to make this, to be quite honest, but the pattern stuck in my head, and I know that if a pattern or something sticks in my head, then it will need to be done, because otherwise it won't go away. And the colour, again, this colour was made by the, oh dear, I've gone a bit dopey. I think I'm going to have to go and get my breakfast. I just wanted to unpack the package, I think. And I also wanted to say that I've started the shawl, because I had put off starting the shawl. And while I'm at it, versus I'm sitting in my crafting corner in the front room, I've got quite a long way with the Amira Summer Breeze top, I think it's called. This is in Scheepjes yarn as well as Scheepjes cotton. This didn't work up quite as nicely on the hand to crochet, but I think it's because it's cotton and not for any fault of the actual fibre. So I've done the front, the back, and it's all in one piece. You go front, shoulders, back. Very pleased with this. This is my first crochet top. The only thing is I've changed the sides. You do a centre panel, and then you pick up the stitches on the side of the panel, and then go from towards the sides, crochet across towards the sides. Then you join the sides up. But the pattern called for a more structured hole effect. I don't know what it's called. And I thought it looked a bit too rigid. So I changed it a little bit. I did some lines of double and treble crochet here, and then a little bit further along here, just to hold the shape of it, because I felt that the this part would just be a bit stretchy. So the treble crochets hold the fibre. So I've got pretty happy with this. The only thing is, I think the shoulders are going to stretch, and I don't want it falling off my shoulders. So I'm going to put double over this seam and make a shoulder seam. I do think knitted and crocheted garments do need seams, because the seams do hold the structure of the garment quite well. It gives them scaffolding, gives the stitchwork scaffolding, and keeps it firm and stops it from stretching too much. If I don't do a seam on that shoulder's going to hang down, and what's going to happen, it's going to pull on my shoulders, because it's holding the weight of the jumper. It's going to be like this, and then it's going to stretch that section, and then it's going to make this section fall down, and we don't want it falling down and exposing cleavage and that, do we? So Anyway, I ran out of wool and I've ordered 3 more balls of wool. And as you fellow crafters know, you never order 1, 2 or 3 balls of wool. You normally have a look round on the website. If you're buying online, you normally have a search around to see if there's anything else one would like to buy as well. So I want a lap blanket for when I'm sitting in this chair, just to keep me warm, because I have a window behind me and I can get a bit chilly. So I've ordered some wool to make a lap blanket and I'll talk about that when it arrives, because it's on its way. Yay! So yeah, my socks, sock knitting isn't going very well. Well, not very well, just haven't done them because I've been out in the garden a lot, as you all know, because I'm doing quite a lot of outside videos at the minute. And my Mintka jumper, this is the sleeve, so I do pick this up. I'm trying to get a little bit of this done because I'm short of jumpers, and I don't want it to sit and not be done. I don't want projects stuck in the pipeline. I'd rather keep doing a little bit of them rather than do a project and then leave it to one side and it be sitting on one side for a year or so, because that's not good. Right, I'm going to go off to get breakfast. I'm going to make a cup of tea, or in my case, a very weak black tea. I just dunk the tea bag once in the water, so it's hardly anything, just like coloured water really, but my tummy doesn't like anything strong. So yeah, so I'm going to get on with my day, get my hair dried. Hoping to go out to a meditation tonight, so I've got a short day. Cherries did well that we picked yesterday. I picked a bowl and then Lester went out in the evening and I held the ladder while he went up the ladder and picked some more cherries, so that tree's finished. It was a surprising harvest, and I shall need to put them into the jars, storage jars, but I don't think I'll do that today because I've got other things to do today, so I'm going to can them up tomorrow. So anyway, catch you later. Bye bye. Well, it's a lovely afternoon and I need to pick the cherries. I picked on Monday and they need to be processed, so rather than sit indoors and do them, I'm going to sit outside and start picking my cherries. So, well, this is a bit, probably better, probably would have been better indoors on the table, but you know, it's when the sun shines, one should go outside and enjoy it as much as one can. That's the thing. So it's my cherry pipper. Whee! First one. Second one. Make sure the pips all come out, because when you eat them, you don't really want to get a cherry pip in your mouth and scrunch down on it, because that'll be a visit to the dentist, and I don't want to do that. I don't mind the dentist, but it does tend to be a bit expensive, as I'm having those 2 implants here and they've cost a lot of money. Not to worry, needed to be done. Gosh, that sun's nice. Had to put my hat on, so pardon me, my skin's, I'm getting a bit sunburnt, so did some gardening this morning on the raised beds, and only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and they needed some more composting. So what I've done is I've just put all the weeds and any lawn clippings and everything in there, and then been filling them up with straw on top. So that should keep them going. Get these done, get these canned up today, and that'll be a good job done. Hopefully I'll get about half a dozen small jars. Won't make a huge amount, but they will be most welcome when we open the jars in the winter. It will remind us of the summer when it's cold. A tree, I think it's an acacia, is letting its seeds go, and it's just like fairies dancing in the wind as the breeze captures them. All very atmospheric. Huh. You don't want to see me doing this for the next hour or so, do you? So I'm gonna switch the camera off for the moment and I'll catch up with you when this is done. Right. Look. 5 jars of cherries. Those are the ones I was doing yesterday. And they'll stay in the cupboard until winter. Yay! That was a good job. Very pleased with myself. Very creative. And it's Friday morning. This video seems to have gone on for about a week, but it's raining today. But it's not dreadful tippy down stuff. It's just gentle, nice rain. Anyway, why I'm outside in the rain was 2 things really. One is that I wanted to finish the video off because it's going on a bit, and Lester's talking to his fellow workers on the telephone, online with them. So he's talking in the background, which isn't a bother, because if I was sewing then I would carry on. You can't really hear him. It's just kind of like a background hum sort of thing. But I wanted to check up on the little seeds I planted in the soil blocks. I'm going to put a little bit of footage here about the how I made the soil blocks, because that didn't get put in at the... Sorry, I'm getting rained on. I don't mind sitting in the rain providing I'm under shelter. But hang on a minute. I've got buckets of soil at my feet because I am an absolute terror for leaving things out, because I know I'm going to go back to them. Sorry, I jiggered you about a bit. Anyway, cherries have done this week. Parcel unwrapped. Just came out to do the soil blocks, to see how they are. They're doing all right, nothing up yet. But the weather's been a bit cool, so they'll come up when they're ready. I mustn't be impatient. Oh, excuse me. I keep looking at them to see if they're all right. You know, I want to kind of tuck them up, and I want to say to them, what can I do to help you grow? You know, I tend to fret about them a little bit because they're not things. They're not things I plant to get a product. They're little beings which need to be given life from their dormant state so that they can grow into themselves. And I feel very personal towards the little things I grow. I'm not the best of growers though. I can be inattentive. I can sometimes forget to water them, and they can therefore suffer as a result. But my heart's in the right place. Now, they're little beings, and I'll just come out to have a quick look to see if they're doing all right, which is another reason why I came outside. One was to finish off the video, and two was to see if the little plants are all right, or rather the little seeds, which are going to hopefully make plants, are going to come out all right. Anyway, my feet are starting to get a bit chilly, and they're going to complain at me by sending pains up my leg if I don't get them indoors and with socks on and boots. So I'm going to put a little link here. I'm going to carry the film on here to how I did the soil blocks, just to finish off the last video I made where I started them and I didn't finish them, just in case you're interested. I mean, you might suddenly decide it might be a good idea to have a try yourself at making them and come away from plant pots. And so that's the link here. Oops, I fell out. Oh dear. me. Well, I got these 2 trays done and they've all got seeds in them. So I've got 12 types of seeds in there. We've only got a small courtyard. There's not much ground open for flowers. Those 2 chickens, by the way, should be around the back of the house. They seem to be just taking up residence for the moment. And it being a rainy day, I shall be back indoors and doing some sewing. Or rather, I was going to do some sewing, and here is the reason why I won't be using my sewing table today.
It's a real relief, because I was dreading that address files. The problem was obviously it wasn't just contacts associated to companies across different companies, but it was also contacts associated to addresses across the different companies. Yeah. So I wasn't sure how we were going to harvest that, and it just didn't make any sense, right? To get it right properly. We don't have the structure for it really, I don't think.
Lester has bought some computer parts and asked if he could have the end of the table to put it all on, and of course I couldn't say no, but I wanted to cut up a skirt, and I thought I'll get that done before he starts putting the computer together. But when the parts started arriving, because he couldn't resist but start trying to put the thing together, and so he's kind of gone along a little bit, and there's one part that's not come yet in the post, so I suppose that'll stay like that. The table will stay like that until the part comes. So I suppose I'll have to do something else. I can't use the cutting table, and I'm not going to whinge and I'm not going to moan. But I did rather fancy making some dressmaking this weekend. Oh well. Anyway, video's long enough. It's been nice sharing time with you. Hope you're well and in a good space in your life. And cheerio for now, and hope to see you soon. Bye!